Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and one thing you have got to say as Miami fans that is Coach Cristobal is quite entertaining when it comes to hiring and firing coaches, as the coaching carousel for the OC position, okay, has a new name, and that name is Jason Candle, as reported by Frank Tucker, and then tweeted out by famous Miami booster and NIL king John Ruiz. The Miami Hurricanes have interviewed the Toledo head coach for the Toledo Rockets for the offensive coordinator position. Now, he was a top candidate last year. As a matter of fact, he probably would have had Candle over Gaddis if it wasn't for the fact that he decided to stay at Toledo. All right, but he joins names like Scott Frost, Marcus Arroyo, Dan Mullen, and Doug Nussmeier as potential Miami Hurricane offensive coordinators. Okay, now this one is really heating up because it was reported, by Frank Tucker, and John Reese again got fans all excited because people feel like, since he is one of the top boosters for the university, that he somewhat knows who Cristobal is going to bring in. But again, we still don't know. But he has emerged as Jason Candle. Has emerged as a potential candidate yet again. I'll get into why I think maybe he'll take the job this time over staying in Toledo. But I'm just gonna go over a few things. Toledo finished 9-5, all right, this past season, won their bowl game, the Boca Raton Bowl. Toledo's offense is the epitome of balance, okay? The epitome. And when I mean epitome, I mean like it's literally 50-50 run versus pass. Toledo averaged about 31 points per game, okay? And many of the teams that they faced that they were supposed to blow out, they blew out. And then against more tougher competition, like Power 5 schools and stuff like that, they didn't score as much, okay? I said they didn't score as much. And but the average, again, 31 points, 31.4 points per game. Passing wise, they used two quarterbacks, one more than other. 3,144 yards passing, 31 touchdowns, running the football, 2,487 yards rushing, averaging about over 4 yards per carry, and 23 touchdowns. Again, balance. And Miami does have a history in facing Toledo not too long ago. In 2017, at home, all right, the Canes being at home, Toledo did put up 30 points against a very, very strong defense that year that Coach Mark Richt put out on the football field. This is a team with guys like Chad Thomas and Jaquan Johnson and Shedrick Redwine and stuff like that. And they scored 30 points on them. Quarterback Logan Woodside threw for over 300 yards against the Canes. Of course, the Canes came up with that victory. They're just more superior opponent. But 30 points, on the road for Toledo was pretty big. Okay, and the following year they played again a home and home. And the Rockets also lost, and they put up 24 points against the Canes. So one thing about Coach Candle is that his offenses in particular have been pretty consistent. His quarterback play for being the MAC conference has been pretty consistent as well. They've always had, since he's been the head coach there, he's always had some pretty good quarterbacks at his program. I just mentioned Logan Woodside, as one of them. Okay, so pretty consistent. They run a power spread, all right, as well. They do run a power spread, so he could bring that to Miami. I don't see a major difference. Him going from his school, to a Power 5, you can make it work because you probably will have an upgrade in talent. Miami having 2 5-star old linemen, bringing a guy like Javion Cohen, bringing a center like Matt Lee, bringing in guys on paper like Mark Fletcher, Chris Johnson. We still haven't seen Trevante Citizen, again, Xavier Restrepo, Ray Joseph, as well. We're gonna see what he could do with a bit of an elevated talent, with the Miami Hurricanes if he does take the OC job. I will say, because he could do a lot. All right, his power spread does have a bit of tempo to it, which is something I felt that Josh Gaddis's offense did lack. All right, was tempo. I felt like it was boring. The plays took too long to develop, and on top of that, snapping the ball took a bit took a while as well. So basically I thought Josh Gaddis's offense was absolutely boring. Toledo's offense is not. They do spread the ball a lot, as well as about 16 receivers, if I'm not mistaken, touched the ball this year for Toledo as well. And they still put up pretty good numbers. Okay, it wasn't like They almost had a 1,000-yard receiver with 16 guys, touching the football as well. So I like his experience. He's done it on a consistent basis. He's not a fluke. He's done it on a consistent basis as well. He runs the kind of offense that Mario Cristobal likes. You can be a power spread and still be dynamic, i.e. Georgia, right? Georgia knows how to put up some good points as well. Again, has head coaching experience, which means he also can work well with the staff, something that Josh Gaddis had a major flaw in, whereas it was evident that Josh Gaddis and Coach Frank Ponce, who was a quarterback coach at the time, did not quite get along. That won't be a problem with Coach Candle, as Coach Candle could work well with a lot of people. Also, this is good because his wide receiver play being good, if he's able to elevate the wide receivers, which, by the way, that's the position that Coach Candle played when he was playing in college, that could attract, a very good wide receiver class over here. For example, the Miami Hurricanes are listed as the top front runner for Josiah Trader. Very early, that could change, as we've seen, guys flipping back and forth, some people coming to the Canes, some people not wanting to come to the Canes. This could be good because if Tyler Van Dyke has a solid year, the wide receivers have a solid year despite not having that home run hitter that they've had in the past. This could attract home run hitters, guys that could, basically you could high point the ball to, on the side that could burn guys, burn DBs and stuff like that, and create space. That could be a very attractive, quality, and bring in a guy like Campbell. I like the hire, as well. One of the flaws I've heard is he doesn't have Power 5 experience, and in particular, but again, y'all got to start from somewhere. And I think that the fact that he is a veteran coach, his style, which is used in Power 5 conferences as well, could easily transition over. So I don't see that as much of an issue. I see the fact that he has been a head coach as a very good positive. Now, why would he come here? Well, the buyout for Candle wouldn't be as bad. It's about $1.1 million per year remaining on his contract. He could probably make more money as the Canes OC. He's probably looking at between $1.8 to $2 million per season if he decides to, come to University of Miami. So it will be it will be a raise in salary. Just won't be obviously a promotion. If he does very well, as the OC, it's much quicker to get a Power 5 job. All right, at least I think so. From what I've seen, it could be easier to get a job at a Power 5 conference or a much more notable university that's not Toledo. Okay, so those are just a little bit about that. Again, I like the hire. Actually, I like most of the guys that have been rumored to come to the Canes, with the exception of one, which is Doug Nussmeier. I was not fond of when I heard that rumor, which is actually yesterday. Which I heard, but I do like the Candle rumor. I'm okay with Arroyo as well. I've come around on Scott Frost. I think that his success at UCF and what he did with Marcus Mariota over in Oregon and stuff like that, he should be given a second chance. So I'm okay. I know in one of my comment sections I said it. I'm not so sure about Scott Frost. I've come around when it comes to Scott Frost. Okay. Again, I like Mullen as well. Dan Mullen, not the best recruiter in the world, but hell of a play caller. One more thing, the only flaw I do see also, I do think that the next OC should be the quarterback coach as well, because they're kind of simpatico, Candle's experience is as a wide receiver, coaching wide receiver. So I just don't see that him becoming the quarterback's coach. I don't see that happening. But we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. We'll see what Coach Cristobal has up his sleeve. But I do think that he wants, from what I've seen, an OC to coach also quarterbacks. I could be wrong. I'm not in the man's head, but that could be it. But again, if this is the guy, I'm fine with the hire. 31 points per game is good. He's had very solid offenses, throughout his tenure at Toledo. I think his style could easily transition over to what Miami wants to do, as well. I like the tempo that Toledo plays with. I like the fact, that they utilize everybody on offense, which confuses defenses because you can't just pinpoint yourself on one guy, because any guy could beat you at any given point, throughout a game. So that's what I think about, what Candle's offense will bring to the table. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we do get an OC, I will do an episode on that as well. But this is just, this is some news I just cannot avoid to not cover for you guys over there in the sports world. If you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon and go Canes.